A very good morning to Prof. Maya, Dr. Hazina binti Muhammad. My name is CHAIRIS and I'm with my group members today, which is Muhammad Afiq bin AZEMAN, WATTCHARAK anak lelaki WIANG, GURMIT SINGH anak lelaki GURNAM SINGH. So we're going to talk about our group assignment, which is PBL 1 to 3, and the project title is E-Koperasi. In short form is EK. Without further ado, I'm going to talk about the introduction. So the first one is E-Koperasi is a system that allows employees and students of University Utara Malaysia to shop conveniently, pay online through secure payment gateway, receive digital receipt, and real-time information about price of items. We focus on making the shopping experience of the users to be more friendly in terms of the users' interface navigation, making sure the item of the price are still follow the standard of University Co-op and ensure up-to-date information about the available items. So without further ado, I'm going to speak about the use case diagram. So I'm going to talk about the use case diagram. Our system name is E-Koperasi, stand for EK. And we have three actors here, which is the customer, admin, and clerk. And for the first use case, which is a login, it has the include to the another use case, which is verify password. And include is a mandatory for it's a must to do for the system. But if the extend is the optional for the user to do, like a login register. So in the box, if you see is if user exists, it goes back to the login page. When the user exists, it will go back to login page because it can't be duplicate user. So it will check if the user is the user is in the database or not. So the second move to the another use case, which is browse menu. The customer can browse menu and then it can extend to the add item to cart. Extend is the optional. Either the customer can want to add another item or want to add the item into the cart. And then also extend to the manage cart. The manage cart is the customer can check availability, update item quantity, delete item quantity. As we can see here, only the check availability is the include. This is because it's mandatory to check either this item is not out of stock yet. And it has the extent of the both use case, which is either update item quantity, delete item quantity. This is optional for the user or for the customer to update or manage their item accordingly. And another use case is make payment. Make payment is the customer can pay by online banking, do it now, QR or cash. It extends to the three extents. It is optional for the customer to choose what is the most preferable payment method. And another communication authorization line, it is include, which is the receipt. It will show the receipt after the customer already pay for the item. Basically, for the payment to run the process, it will display the receipt. It will generate the receipt, and it also will extend to track order. Customer can track order to check either the item is reached to their home or not yet reached. And for the admin can log in to the use case and can register. And also admin can see the purchase history, and customer can also see the purchase history, and it will extend to the view recent purchase history. It will filter out on the most view recent purchase history. And also customer can manage the account, which is update profile, change password, view account, delete account. Manage account, it is extends, extends. All of this is optional for the customer because it's an option because customer can change whenever they want. And for the clerk, the use case is a communication association. which is login registers, and also manage product. Clerk can manage product by add item, update item, delete item. It is also same as manage account because it has a communication association as the extent, because it's optional for the clerk either to want to add or update or delete, or whenever they want to add or whenever they want to modify. And the admin, the last use case for admin is the report. Admin can view the monthly report and also view annual report. It basically is generate report according to the customer or for their pay monthly or annually. That's it from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gurmit and my metric number is 303766, and today I'm going to explain about this sequence diagram for login, register and forgot password. So from here we can see the sequence diagram for login, and for login we have login panel, login controller, customer and menu. So first thing, user will insert the username and password, and from the login panel it will send to the login controller, and then the login controller will send the username and password to the customer database, and from here the username and password will be verified by the customer. And then if the verification is successful, it will send display successful login from the customer to the login controller, and the login controller will display will send the successful login to the login panel to notify the user that they have successful login into the system, and then the user will be redirected to the menu page. If the user enters the wrong credential, for example for exceptional flow for E1, user will have to re-enter the username and password. If the user is not registered to the system and wish to continue to the menu page, user can continue as guest mode, as user can choose the guest mode and it will direct to the menu page. And this is for the register page. So here user clicks register and the register panel will display the register form, and here user will input all the registration data required such as username, email and password, and the register panel will send the registration data to the register controller, and the registration controller will validate all the registration data. So here we have three exceptional flow. First is the invalid password format. The password format should contain at least 8 characters, should be alphanumeric and also must contain symbols. For the second exceptional is user exists. If the user exists to the system will not create the user with the same username, as we should protect our database based on the ACID properties. And the third one is invalid email, which is invalid email format. Each email should contain an alias symbol. So if the validation data of the registration is success, so we will create an account for the user, and the account of the user will be saved to the customer database. So after the data of the customer is saved into the database, it will send a notification from the customer to the registration controller, and the message will be displayed at the register panel, and then the user will be redirected to the login page to log in with their latest username and password. So these are the ACID properties of the database management system. The first one is atomicity. So for the atomicity is the entire transaction only takes place at once and doesn't happen to all. So if we don't have the duplicate user, so the transaction only happen to one user and doesn't affect the other user. Then the second property of database is consistency. The database must be consistent before and after the transaction. And the third one is isolation. Multiple transaction occurs independently without interference. So if one user is doing the transaction, it doesn't interfere with other user. And the last one is durability. The changes of a successful transaction occurs even if the system failure occurs. Alright, so this is the sequence diagram for forgot password, where user clicks forgot password, and the forgot password panel will display the forgot password form. And from here, user will input their email, and from the panel it will send to the controller, and from the controller it will send to the customer's database. So the customer database will validate the email whether the email exists or not in the database. If the email exists in the database, it will send the reset link to the user via email, and the user will click the reset link from the email, and they will input a new password. And from the when user inputs a new password, so the password from the forgot password panel will go to the forgot password controller. So from here we'll validate whether the password match the requirements, which is minimum 8 characters, and also contains alphanumeric and symbols. And if it match the requirements, and the customer forgot password controller will send the new password to the customer's database, and the customer database will update the password for the customer, I mean the user, and then it will send the notification to the user to notify that their password is updated successfully. And after the notification, the user will be redirected to the login page, so they can log in with their new password. So from here we have a few exceptional flow, which is the E1 invalid password format. So E2 is about expiration email link. So when the email link is sent to the user, it is set to the uh, expiration. So if the user takes a longer time to uh, uh, update their password, so the expiration link will fail. So for the third one is request limit. So each user will be given a number of limits to request for the email link. So if the user have exceeded the limit, so the system will block the user for a time. So then user will click the link after waiting for some time. And for the E4 is email does not exist. So the system will verify whether the email exists or not in the database. So if the email does not exist in the database, the system will not send the email link to the user's email, and the system will send a notification to the user that the email does not exist in the database.
Salam sejahtera. My name is WATTCHARAK and my metric number is 303631. So today I will present about the use case specification for the make payment. For the brief description, this is a use case that explains the through which the user can make their payment of the day of the order. The user is going to see the detailed payment summary with the item name, quantity, and the price. The system will dynamically compute and show the subtotal and the total cost. After the payment details are confirmed, the system will refer the user to the payment provider, which we use the Pay. So the user can select the bank and pay the order. After that, the user will direct to a receipt page or the summary page of the order. The precondition for the make payment is the user should have gone to manage the card process. That means they should put the item in the cart and chosen the delivery option by their choice. The second one is the method of the payment should be established and ready to use. For example, the availability of the pay to process the payment. Third one is characteristic of the activation, which on user demand. We are next. I will explain about the basic flow. The basic flow is show the how the page going and do. For the basics flow, the user is show a detailed summary of the payment with the payments with the, list of name, quantity, and the item and the price of the item include in the card. So the system will calculate and display the subtotal as the total cost of purchase include of the tax and the discount, if any. The system send the user to the ToyoPay website where the total amount that one has to pay is displayed and a list of bank that available for selection. The system will display the selected item on the table format, which the detail also for review before proceeding to proceed to make a payment. We in this use case specification for make payment, it doesn't have the alternative flow, but it has a exceptional flow. For E1, payment failure, which means the user failed to make a payment. The system show pop-up error and the payment failed and ask the user to retry the another payment method. For E2 is invalid payment detail, which means the system will alert the user on the invalid detail of payment and ask the user to edit the information before processing. The next one is post condition. After confirming payment detail, the user proceed with the payment. Once the payment is successful, the system will redirect the user to the receipt page or the order summary page. The user is redirected to the summary page or receipt on which the purchase detail can be reviewed and the transaction is successfully done. So that's all for use case specification for the make payment. So this is our the use case for the make payment. We extend the online banking and extend the QR code and extend the cash for the payment. Cash, which means the COD, and then it will include the receipt and the receipt extend to the track order. Okay, next is the activity diagram. So it has two actors, which is customer and will communicate with the system, and it will start and then go to this decision, which means is check the invalid card value or valid card value. If invalid, it will redirect back to the managed card, and then if it valid, you will be proceed to make a payment. Or to make a payment, it also have another decision, which is to check you invalid payment or valid payment. If invalid, is return to the first. For the valid, you also need to choose the debit, credit, or online banking. And then if you choose one, the flow will go down and then end the process. That's all. Okay, I will continue with the sequence diagram. We have the actor, user, payment panel, payment controller, and the payment. For the first step is payment process, which means from the user to the payment panel. And then the payment panel will display the payment, which means it will display the item, quantity, and the price, and it's back to the panel. Next, the panel will send to the payment controller, which is to calculate the total, and the payment controller to the panel show back the total. And the next step is confirm the payment detail from the user to the payment panel. The payment panel to the payment controller, which verify the payment detail. And then if invalid, the controller will send back to the panel, which means the invalid payment detail. If valid, it will show redirect to the ToyoPay and show the total amount and bank option, and it will display back the available bank, then show the list of bank to the panel. And then for panel to the payment, it will select the payment methods. After the process or the process is the process payment details send back, and then payment successful and show the receipt and order summary. So here is the payment. If the payment fail, from is need user to retry and choose another payment method. Next, the collaboration diagram for make payment. So this show the user and the payment panel communication for the first step and the fifth steps, which mean the payment process and confirm payment detail. For the payment panel, back to the payment panel, it also has the step 2, which means the display payment for the user, item, quantity, and the price. And then payment panel to the payment controller have the calculate total and verify payment details. The payment controller send back to the payment panel have the show total, invalid payment, and show the list bank. For the payment controller to the payment also have the X and 11, which mean the which that is the redirect to pay and select the payment method. And for the payment back to the controller have the display available bank and the process payment detail.
Good evening, Doctor. My name is Muhammad Afiq bin AZEMAN. My matrix number is 303534, and I'll be presenting about the next use case, which is the managed card. So here's the user specification for the use case. A little bit of this brief description. As this use case is initiated by the user, it enables the user to manage their items by updating and deleting items. User also can see the total price of each item by calculating all the price. So the user can update and delete any items that is inside their card. So the precondition is the user must be logged in during the session of the system. The user cannot access if they are not logged in. And the item must be added to the cart. So there must be at least an item in the cart first. So the characteristic of activation is on user demand. And next is the flow of the event. Just the basic flow. I'll be showing the flow later in the activity and the sequence diagram. So next is the alternative flow. There are two alternative flow, which is update item and delete item. Next is the exceptional flow. There are also two, which is out of stock item. The system will display a toast message saying items out of stock. It will notify the user if an item is out of stock when attempting to increase its quantity beyond the available stock. So next is the delivery method is not available. The system will display a toast message saying please choose delivery method when the user forgot to choose delivery method. So next is the post condition. The user will be able to check out all the items and will navigate into payment screen. The stock of all items will be updated and the total price will be updated. So the rules are none and the constraints are also none. So this is the activity diagram for the use case managed card. So in the start state, it will go to the first activity, which is the managed card. Next, it will move on to the next, which is the add item to cart, and will move on into the system, into the check item. Then it will move on to the state point, which there is two state. If the item is invalid, it will go back to the point in the add item to cart here. Then if the item is valid, that is also two part. The first part, if the user decided to delete an item, it will go back to the point of the add item to cart here. And if the user decided to update the item, it will move on to the next activity, which is it will redirect to payment, and it will move on to the end state here. So that is the activity diagram for the managed card. So next, this is the sequence diagram for the use case managed card. So there are three objects here, which is the managed card panel, managed card controller, and checkout. So the flow here is, first the user will send a message to view card to the panel. Then the panel will send a message to retrieve items to the controller. Here there are two alternative flow, which is the update and delete. Next, the controller will send a message back to the panel to display the items, the item name, price, quantity, and total price. Then the panel will send a message to itself to display the cart, everything in the cart there. So first alternative flow, which is the update, the first message will be update quantity, item new quantity will send to the panel. Then the panel will send it to the controller to update the items. Then the controller will send back to the panel to directly calculate everything. Then the panel will send a message back to itself to show the card. Then the controller will send a message to display card summary, which is total items and total price. So next alternative flow, which is the delete. So the first flow is it will send a delete items message to the panel. Then the panel will send it to the controller to remove item. Then the controller will send back to the panel to recalculate, and the panel will send a message to itself to show the card. Then the panel will the controller will send a message to the panel to display card summary, which is total items and total price. So here's the exceptional flow, which is when the item is out of stock. So the controller will send out of stock message to the panel. Then the panel will update those out of stock item. Here it will send update new items to the controller here. Next exceptional flow, which is if the delivery method is not available. So the checkout here, it will send a message to the panel saying delivery method is not available. So the panel will choose pick up or delivery and will send a message to the checkout. So next flow is the panel will proceed to the checkout. It will send to the controller, and the controller will send a message to the checkout saying display checkout. So that is the sequence diagram for the managed cart. So lastly will be the collaboration diagram for the use case managed cart. So this is the collaboration diagram for the use case managed cart. As you can see here, the flow here are the same as the sequence diagram. Only different is the order. But so the user, the panel, the controller, and the checkout are all associated with each other. As you can see from the lines here, they are connected to each other. So the different from the sequence diagram is here collaboration diagram are not in chronological sequence, because it will send a message to each other here, unlike in sequence diagram where it will go from the top to the bottom and so on to the very end. And will also emphasize the flow of messages through a set of objects. So it will emphasize more on the message, unlike the sequence diagram, which is it will emphasize more on the time ordering of the messages being passed. So that is the collaboration diagram for the use case managed card, and it's all from me. Thank you.
So I'm going to talk about the class diagram. Our project has multiple class diagram, which is EK controller, EK panel, product, customer, menu, card, checkout, report, payments, receipt, and track order. EK controller is act as a superclass, and they all have the subclass, all of this. And for the checkout, it is a superclass for the payment, and payment is a subclass of checkout. And then receipt is a subclass, and it is payment is a subclass for receipt, and tracking order is a subclass for receipt. And I'm going to talk about the first class, which is the EK panel. EK panel is an interface which is it has multiple attributes, which is a login, register, forgot password, promotion, menu, manage card, payment, receipt, inventory, report, and TOIP. TOIP is a function for the our payment integration, and it is the one-to-many, and it will interact with the EK controller to the one-to-many of these functions. And For this one, it is called for the association, for the verb interact with, and for the one and two and a star or one to many, it is a multiplier indicator to know what communication between EK panel and the EK controller. And while EK controller, it has the login controller, register controller, forgotten password controller, browse menu controller, manage card controller, payment controller, receipt controller, inventory controller, report controller. It is all is subclass. All of this is subclass to the EK controller, and it will be linked it to all of these subclass. And it's also for the icon. The icon beside it is a public. All of this attribute is public. Same goes with EK panel. So we begin with the product class diagram for the class for the product. Okay, and it's a class for the customer. Product it has the 4 data type, which is the string for the product ID, product name string, product price double, product quantity integer. All of this is public. And for the attributes functions or operations, it has the add parameter is product, update item parameter is status price, update success determine item ID, deletion success validate fields data, save new item parameter data. And the next class is the EK controller integrate with customer. Customer it has the 3 data types, which is a 3 variables, 3 data types. Customer usernames is string, customer email is string, customer password is string. And for the customer password, we use the private because it is need to be secure. And for the operation is verify username password. The parameter is username password. Save, the parameter is account information. Validate, parameter is email. Update, parameter is new password. And save update account is details. And then the delete user account. It integrates between EK controller. It integrates with customer many to many, and the customer is many to many. The next one is a menu. The menu class for menu is a display product, check product availability. So it's just it is communicate with the EK controller. So that it will display the menu to the EK panel. And the card is the next one is a class diagram for card. It has 3 data types variables. Product ID is string, product name is string, product price is double. And the operation is at the update item, recalculate, and remove item. It is card redirect with EK controller. Submit from card. For the checkout is it link from the card to the checkout is submit from card, and it is be many to one, and checkout is one to many, one to one. Checkout has the 3 variables and data, which is product ID, string, product name string, product quantity integer, and the operation is delivery method not available. Choose pickup or delivery, display checkout. And this checkout also link with the communicate with controller, which is when it is processed, it will process to the EK controller. And after the checkout, it will go to the payment. Payment, it has the variable is payment ID and data type is string. Redirect, the attribute the operation is redirect TOIP. TOIP is the process payment. Total amount, spec option is parameter. And the display available bank, select payment method, process payment details. And the communication verb is generates, and it has the multiplier indicator is 1 to 1 to the receipt. And receipt also communicate with the payment is 1 to 1. Receipt, it has the same goes with the 3 variables and 3 data types: product ID string, product name string, product quantity integer. And this is the operations or attributes. And I will go to the tracking order, and the receipt will track to the tracking order 1 to 1, and the tracking order to be 1 to 1 to the receipt. And the order ID is a string, one variable and 1 data type, and the operation is fetch tracking status and return order status and delivery estimate. And the last class diagram is report. And EK controller will generate report for the admin to analyze what the report of all our cells, and it has the same same product ID, product name, product quantity, and the strings integer. It is the public class, and the function is or the operation is get all reports, report list, get filter report, filter generate report PDF and PDF. So that's all from me. Thank you.